Yo, yo, yo. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Welcome to this week of Afro-Sundays. We're going to talk Cuba. We're going to talk Cuba. How y'all doing this Sunday? Let me know if my audio is good, if y'all can hear me okay. I might have a couple of travelers that's been to Cuba come up later on. But yeah, we're going to talk Cuba. If anyone has been to Cuba before, that want to contribute to the conversation, let me know. I'll make sure I drop the link in the chat. We do some housekeeping real quick. See who in the building. JM, sup, bro? Cuba has some of the best doctors in the world. Yeah, man. I've been reading up on it, man, and a lot of things I wish I would have known, when I was younger coming up. Because people that may not know, I'm a chemist. So I actually thought about being a doctor at some point, but I kind of got discouraged due to the cost and things of that nature. So I just kind of stuck with that. But if I would have known about Cuba, and then also, the dating options or possibilities in Cuba, I mean, who knows what direction my life would have took if I would have known this information. So that's one thing that I'm big on, that I want to do on this channel, is give information, because information, man, holds us a lot back, and sometimes we realize it too late, whether it comes to travel. A lot of things I do as far as promoting different countries, just certain things I wish I would have been put up on game much sooner, man. But yeah, so what I'm going to do is, I got some clips I'm just going to show, just to kind of give you an idea of what has been going on in Cuba as it relates to medical students. And then I'm going to have some people that's been in Cuba, and talk more about, things to do there, what it's like, the potential of tourism and things of that nature. But I'm going to play this intro of just some people I follow on social media, just to give you an idea of what it looks like being a student in Cuba. Yeah. So yeah, I was just amazed, man, like just the different demographics that I saw as far as students in Cuba. Searching through friends that I know, represent a lot of countries, especially in Africa, Asia, South America, and the United States. So I was very, very surprised. Some of the countries that I visit frequently. South Africa, for example. So I want to play something real quick in regards to just what I discovered, South Africa initiative on recruiting more doctors. So let me play that, make sure the signal is good. Let me expand this.
The Nelson Mandela Fidel Castro Medical Program are leaving Cuba after 5 years studying at the country's renowned medical schools. The program has been running for decades and aims to boost the number of doctors qualifying in South Africa. Our correspondent, Giles Gibson, went along to a special send-off event in Havana and sent this report.
Between South Africa and Cuba, viva!
The traditional slogan of the Cuban Revolution, from medical students hoping to bring about a healthcare revolution back home.
I want to bring nothing but change in the health system in South Africa, more especially the method that we're using here in Cuba, which is the preventative method, which is really lacking in South Africa. So I'm really hoping to bring about nothing but change.
And after 5 years living abroad, the students are also desperate to be back with their families.
I'm actually grateful that I'm finally going home to reunite with my family and be part of our professional team in South Africa.
So yeah, that was pretty interesting. Just to kind of see that, you know, South Africa. So Nelson Mandela and Fidel Castro, you know, they created what you want to call it, a initiative, you know what I mean, to you know, promote, you know, the growth of doctors and their way of healthcare, you know what I mean, in South Africa. So that was something that was started back then and is continuing today as well. So I want to share another clip. Let's kind of talk about why Cuba has so many, you know, so many doctors.
In 1959, when Castro assumed power, half of the 6,300 doctors in the country defected. So the country concentrated its efforts on training new doctors. They put in place an emergency accelerated curriculum in 1963 so that they could realize their vision for a free and accessible public health system. They also invited students from newly independent African and Caribbean countries to enroll. Academic records were not the only criteria. So was a commitment to solidarity and serving communities without access to health. The program has changed a lot over the years, but there's one thing that sets Cuban medical graduates apart: their community focus. Cuba's medical education system exists within the healthcare system. Instead of teaching hospitals,
Yeah, so I didn't know this. So watching that video, I didn't know that you know, when Castro took power, a lot of doctors fled, which, you know, made them at a deficit. So they had an initiative to create and promote more doctors in the country, to produce more doctors. And that's why they started reaching out to, you know, various countries internationally for med students, which I didn't know. I do have one of my big bros in the background. I'll bring him up in a minute. JM said, are most young people still trying to escape Cuba? What is the vibe from what you got? So I wasn't there yet, but I'll ask that to some of the brothers that come up. But yeah, I got the homie Barber World Zoe in the background. When he gives me the thumbs up, I'll bring him up. Let me see the next clip. So I was kind of surprised to see some South African women, or South Africans in general, also let me play this, also have so much influence with the MED program. So I'm just going to play a clip from this as well.
What's your take-home message, or your message to whoever's viewing this video about being a doctor, having been trained in Cuba, gone through the program here in SA, and now being a healer in South Africa, Gauteng?
Well, honestly speaking, like I said before, it's not about the money, you know, because this is a very demanding career, physically and mentally. So we get into it young. We see a lot of things that we aren't supposed to see. because we're also trying to save lives. Don't think saving lives is fun. It's really, really not. I come home about 2 to 3 times a week and I'm finished. Mentally, I've had enough. I'm either crying or about to, because we see so much, and there isn't a lot of debriefing programs around that, you know?
If any.
So what I'd say to you is it must be something you want to do from the bottom of your heart. And the salary it's not enough. How much do you pay for your back to just come back? The bed you need to even buy. You can't just, no, because you're on your feet, and the calls. Before you want to venture into medicine, I think on career day, you should actually shadow a doctor.
Yeah, so these are some South African. So South Africa is pretty deep in the med program. There's another South African lady that I saw as well. Let me share her.
And I'm telling you, this is not even an exaggeration. The profs that we had when we were learning Spanish, they went out of their way to make sure that you have the language down. It's just up to you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a very optimistic person, especially after studying medicine in Cuba. I'm a very optimistic person. So it doesn't really need you to be a pessimist. Like, it needs you to be optimistic and know that there are people before you, like us, who did do it. We went through everything that you would potentially go through. And we made it. And we look back at our experience now and we're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I had to climb like...
Yeah, so... Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing that the reach Cuban medicine has on everything. But I'm gonna bring the homie up. I got a couple homies up. Let me see if Zoe can hear me. Zoe.
What up?
Hold on, I'll bring him back. Are you ready? Hold on, let me bring him
You
back
hear
up.
me? Yeah. Can you hear me? I got on some headphones.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I can hear you, man.
I'm in a patio, man, right now.
Okay. Yeah. I appreciate you popping in, man. Let me know if you can hear me. Okay.
I hear you just fine, brother.
Okay.
They out here.
So yeah, man. I did a. Okay, I see you. So,
Sorry to get off topic. What's good though?
Nothing
I don't have
much,
that.
Man.
I don't have anything to mention in regards to the medicine and what the contributions of Cuba. I saw a little bit of your last guest. Woo. All right, let's make it quick because I'm very distracted. But I feel like, being that I've been to Cuba 3 times and I was just here a few months ago, I should have something to add. So tell me what it is you're looking for regarding information, or just my opinion.
Or just let us know, man. Just the Afro culture you seen, man. What has changed over the years, and do you and what do you think about tourism and more people visiting Cuba now?
It's funny that I've been there 3 times and people were still under the impression that you couldn't visit Cuba. And you can, there's like 10 reasons why you can visit. And usually it's to help the Cuban people. Works just fine. I've watched it develop over the last, I was in there 2018, 2019, and then 2022. And they're putting a lot of money into developing the downtown areas of Cuba. They are working on all these new hotels that, of course, Americans can't stay at, but they're putting millions of dollars into developing hotels, and they paved new streets since I've been there last. The dollar is very strong there, but the people are still suffering. You know, just to be blunt, the Cuban people are still suffering. Now, when it comes to Afro-Cubans, there's no more Afro-Cuban place than Santiago, is it? Santiago de Cuba. That's where all the black people are. It's like bigger than like how you got Choco and how you got in Panama you got Cologne, and in Costa Rica you got something similar. But there's a lot of the black Cubans family descended from Santiago de Cuba.
Okay.
I haven't visited myself because there's no direct flights there, and the ride is like 17 hours to take a bus. But on my next visit, I went with my brother James Guitar, who's been to Cuba several times and been to Santiago de Cuba several times. So on our next visit, we're actually going to Santiago de Cuba. You know what I mean? That's where the Afro-Cubans, that's where the black people are. Now, I've met several what appears to be Afro-Cubanos. I can't call them that. They could only call themselves that. So in my opinion, Afro-Cubanos, and almost all of them said their family is from Santiago de Cuba.
Okay. So that's something to check out, man. One more question, man, before you get out, man. So do you, by you being to Cuba and you seeing things, man, have us Americans been kind of shut off from just knowing what Cuba has to offer?
Yeah, they don't know what it has to offer. And Cuba is a beautiful country. I mean, beautiful beaches, the old colonial buildings that they're rehabbing. I mean, it's just amazingly beautiful to be so poor. The beauty, the money that was once there, you can see it all over the place, man. If they rehab those buildings, those old colonial historical buildings, it is so beautiful there. And the people are so warming. I mean, they have some, what they call Santeria. That's like really the original birthplace of Santeria, that religion that they also have in Puerto Rico, that they also have in Brazil. And that's one of the, they might call the names a little bit different, but that's the like original birthplace of the Yoruba African culture there. So this, I think, and I said it before, I think the people in Cuba are more in tune with their African descent than Americans are. You know what I mean? Yeah, like it's a beautiful country. I felt warm there. Crime is low, even though it's kind of started now because the people are doing really bad. Like people have to wait on lines to get bread and meat and wait on lines to get deodorant and shampoo and get tickets and wait outside on a line for 100 people. Like I saw some disturbing things, but I still saw the beauty there. And it's beautiful. I mean, they have this dirt poor, then there's middle class, it seems like, because they have beautiful clubs. I mean, I go in the club in there and you would think you were in Medellin somewhere. You go in the club, beautiful girls dressed to the nine. I mean, and Cuba is one of the places where education is taken seriously, even though it's not rewarded monetarily. Like the Cubans are smart people. They go to school for free. You know what I'm saying? Like she was saying, they got one of the biggest medical schools that accept students from all over the world in Cuba. You know what I mean? So when I met a shorty on the beach and she was starting in medical school like the next day. You know what I mean? So, and I didn't want to send the wrong message about Cuba. That's why I curtailed my videos. I still got more videos to edit from Cuba, but I don't want people going over there with the Colombia mentality. So I didn't show it in that manner. You know what I'm saying? I didn't show it in that way at all. And I curtailed what I delivered to the people because I saw the impact of what YouTube can do and what it has done to Colombia and the Dominican Republic and places like that. And I just didn't want to contribute to that with Cuba because Cuba is not known for that type of nightlife, lifestyle type of thing. And I think it has, all these places have more to offer, but you know, it is what it is. But I was actually supposed to be going back to Cuba, but my dates from my travel just got mixed up. But I was definitely looking forward to going back to Cuba this year. But I'll be back next year, though, for sure.
Okay. Cool, man. Well, I
Yeah.
definitely appreciate your time, man. I know you out and about, man.
You know, for you, brother, you know I make the time. You know I got crazy love for you, and I like what you're doing, and you're staying on the grind. You're not giving up. You know what I'm saying? Slow nickels or fast quarters, either way, you're gonna get there. You feel me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
All right, brother.
All right, I'll catch you later.
Peace.
Yo, so that is from International Zoe, currently in Thailand, man. Thailand. So I got another brother, man. Got another brother that just recently been to Cuba. I'm gonna unmute him and see if he ready. Yo.
Yeah, what up?
What? Okay. You got a little background noise, man.
What is it? The feedback? What you hear? Is it a fan?
Feedback, a little static.
Well, I'm gonna try my best. I'm at work. I'm using my iPad.
Okay, you on iPad? Okay. Real quick, man, just kind of give us like your trip, your recent, I guess a brief trip report on your recent trip, man. Because you said the last time you've been was like several years ago. So what was anything different that you saw last time from when you was in Cuba last time to this last trip?
So the last time I've been before the most recent trip was at the beginning of this month. The last time I've been was back in 2018, before all the changes happened due to the Trump administration when he closed down well, he pretty much told us that we couldn't go back to Cuba. So what's different now? A lot has changed, and being that that country is a communist/socialist country, one of the issues I had was with the whole currency exchange. So before, when the embargo was lifted and Americans could travel over there, but still can't travel over there for tourism, but for all the other 12 licenses that allow Americans to travel over there for. Um, they had two type of currencies there. Uh, one was Cuban pesos and Cuban convertible peso. The Cuban convertible peso was a currency that most Americans used to convert. They used to exchange their dollars for. Um, Now there's no Cuban convertible pesos, and it's like not even the places in Cuba are even accepting their own currency. They take the currency from all other countries, even U.S. dollars. So it's kind of hard to gauge what is a fair rate for a lot of things you want to buy there. You know, uh, for instance, when I was flying back uh, to the U.S. and I was beyond the security gate, and I was just at my gateway for my flight, I decided I wanted to get something to eat. So I still had some pesos, some Cuban pesos left, and I wanted to use that to buy something to eat. The people there said we don't take Cuban pesos. We take either U.S. dollars uh, or U.S. dollar, euros, or anything else. I'm like, okay, I use the euros I got, but they want to give me back my change and Cuban pesos. I'm like, okay, I'm leaving the country. I'm not going to use this Cuban peso. You know, what was interesting to me, like, can you give me back my money in euros or US or in USD? She's like, no, we can't. But you want me to use my euros or USD instead of using these Cuban pesos? So I decided not to even buy anything. So this most recent trip and the times I've been before, and remind you, this is my fourth time going. A lot has changed. It's pretty weird. I have to really think about everything that has changed. But it's like the last guy. It's still a beautiful country. I was staying in Havana, so I only been to Havana. I never been to any other cities there. If you like roughing it, if you don't mind roughing it, you know, it's not a bad trip. People are still friendly there. I felt safe. whenever I'm in Cuba, I feel safe. I wasn't roaming around the streets at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I didn't have any fear of anybody trying to rob me or uh, anything. Nothing. I didn't feel. I felt safe. You know, they're one of the best clubs is in Havana. It's called the Art Factory, Fabrico de Arte. It costs $2 still to get in, and you could drink as much as you want. They give you a drink ticket. You just tell you'll be at the end of the night. If you lose that ticket, you just pay $20. You know, and that still one of the best clubs I've been to. And it's like the size of a city block. You know, different music, a number of rooms. Um, People there still friendly. I met with an old friend who I met years prior. It was like, we never missed a beat. We were still cool and everything. So, what else do you like to know about the country?
So would you say it's a place people could travel by themselves? Some people like to travel with people, but would you recommend people for the first time traveling by themselves, or should they go with somebody?
From my own experience, I could travel by myself. But this last trip I traveled by myself. Only been there 4 times, and twice I traveled there by myself, and twice I didn't. I would say you can travel there by yourself. However, you got to be mindful of a lot of things because of the embargo. They don't want you U.S. citizens um, staying at the hotels because a lot of the businesses and like the hotels and stuff like that, uh, they really fund their government with any type of revenue. Were the women submissive? Would you compare it to the other country like Colombia? My experience, yeah, they are because, like I mentioned, I met with an old friend uh, uh, I met with an old friend on the last trip who I met recently, and be honest with you, because the people are doing so bad there, and the women there just want to have fun. I mean, you can find a chick there and take her out and everything. You know what I'm saying? She just pretty much stick by your side the entire time you're there. You know, I had one of my homeboys who I used to frequent Cuba with. He met a girl one night. They went out. He met one girl one night while we was out. He bought her drinks, brought her back to the Airbnb. He fed her. You know what I'm saying? They wound up smashing her the same night. With no fucking cash exchange. And I mean, there's also pros there. You know what I mean? But if you know how to be nice and you know how to approach them, they're submissive. Yeah, definitely are.
Okay, cool, man. As far as like overall like expenses, like hotel, restaurants, or lodging, restaurants, transportation, is it just as expensive, let's say, as traveling to, let's say, Colombia or DR, or cheaper?
It's it's like I said, the currency situation is really throwing a lot of people off because you can't gauge on what you're paying for at the appropriate rate. If you in Havana and old Havana, the restaurants in that general area are gonna be charging you as if you back in the States. You know what I'm saying? But if you go outside those tourist areas per se, you'll be paying little or nothing on everything. You'll probably be saying you'll be probably paying less than you would pay if you were in Colombia or if you were in the DR. You know, the thing is, it's like I said, I frequent Havana whenever I go, so I'm always in the old town, new town, where most of the tourists be at, and they know you're a tourist. You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna try to charge you and get as much money as they possibly can. So I got somebody who want to go there and visit the place. They should try to blend in. This last time I blended in very well. I walked around in a tank top, a gold chain, and some flip flops. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm black, which there's a lot of Afro-Cubans there. You know, I blended fairly well. You walk around with your Jordans, and when your jeans, look like you're from, a tourist, yeah, they're gonna approach you and try to ask you for money, try to sell you bootleg cigars and all that. But I would say make a friend. That friend will help you get the best deals and everything. Everything is negotiable, even cab rides. Because I remember I took a cab there with my first time in that country, and the guy charged me more than what I should have paid. And that's because I didn't make a friend and I didn't uh, ask around or negotiate my price before getting in that cab. You know,
Okay.
most young people still trying to escape Cuba. I don't know. A lot of young people. A lot of people there. They were just having fun. I didn't know. I don't too much talk to. Well, define young because I'm 41 years old. You know what I'm saying? And the chicks I hung with, they were now they're about 27, 28, 30, and they're working. You know what I'm saying? And trying to keep a roof over their head. A lot of them in a position where they feel defeated that they don't want to. They can't leave. I think I mentioned to Rob when I got back, like chick I'm interested in. I would try to get her over this country, but it's so much restrictions against them for traveling to different countries. They only a short list of places they could travel to where they don't have to uh, do or show so much for them to leave the country.
Wow, wow, wow. Is there a certain time of year people should travel, or it really don't matter?
It really don't matter, but it's right off the coast of Florida, so try to avoid that area during hurricane season. Around I say around this time of year, August, September. This is like hurricane season, but I normally travel during the winter months because I'm in Chicago. It's cold here, and it's definitely warmer there. You know, but around February they have the carnival, like most of the Caribbean islands have. And yeah, I would say any time during the year, uh, with the exception of hurricane season. You know, they only an hour away from Florida, the country. You know,
Okay.
and they get those hurricanes just like the rest of the Caribbean islands in that area.
Oh, facts, facts, facts.
As far as taxi goes, what I'm saying, like I said, before you jump in a taxi, negotiate your price. They got a lot of, like you seen in pictures and video, they got a lot of 1950 vehicles or small vehicles, motorbikes, just like any Latin country, like the DR. Um, it could be fairly inexpensive if you know how to negotiate and navigate accordingly. You know,
Okay, cool,
that's why I
cool,
said make a
man.
friend, make a Cuban friend, and the people there are friendly. Just find someone cool. Like the shorty I was with the last time I was there. I let her do the talking and parts of the car ride, and pretty much took us across this city for little or nothing.
Okay, okay. Well, cool, cool, man. Y'all appreciate, man, your time, man. I'm gonna continue to go through videos that I want to show, man. But thanks for coming up, bro.
Oh, let me mention this one thing. So,
Go ahead.
for Americans to travel over there, there's two ways to travel. You can either do a group trip, which is it's one of the licenses, or you could do a individual trip, which is support of the Cuban people. A lot of people who are traveling for the U.S. is going to Cuba is uh, traveling there under that license. And there's no straight flight from the U.S. to Cuba. Most of the flights connects in Florida. So when you get to Florida, you buy your visa. I think I paid $85 for it, and they asked what the reason you're traveling there for. You said support of Cuban people, and the support of Cuban people is as simple as such as getting an Airbnb, eating at mom and pop shops, just staying away from the hotels or anything that directly support the government.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
yep, that's all I have for you.
All right, cool, bro, man. I'll catch you later, bro.
All right.
All right. Yeah. So he just recently went to Cuba, had a good time. The nightlife is pretty good from videos Barber World, International Barber World shared with me, and my bro Wes shared as well. I'm supposed to have Tailor Made Dreams and Mr. Flip Flop come up shortly. They were also recently in Cuba as well. But I just wanted to kind of share some more videos of just, students studying in Cuba. And then I want to talk about, what I talk about with other countries as far as, can you live there, relocating, retiring, things of that nature. So I'm going to go over that as well. So let me share this screen real quick. Let me fast forward real quick.
Countries. While there, we had the chance to catch up with second-year medical students from the US and ask them about their experiences studying in Cuba.
So why are you studying in Cuba instead of the US? So for me, I was always interested in going to medical school overseas. I saw the healthcare system and how it worked in the US. And, always growing up, we always knew that Cuban doctors were the best. They were always on the forefront of a lot of, whether it was natural disasters or, so for me, I decided that was something that I wanted to pursue. So I did a lot of information research. I found Pastors for Peace. I saw their mission statement and in terms of medical school in Cuba. And so a lot of what they put were things that, really spoke to me and the kind of doctor I wanted to be, not only just a doctor of science, but a doctor with a social conscience. And I think that's what really motivated me to apply and be here.
Wow. So that kind of when I seen somebody send me that video, and what I was kind of surprised was that Americans were seeking medical school overseas. I actually had a friend that went to medical school in the Virgin Islands, but when I was coming up in college, and like I mentioned earlier, I had an interest in med school at some point, but the cost, things that you got to take when you the medical school exams, but yeah, pretty much paying for medical school. So that kind of discouraged, not only myself, but a lot of people. And so I didn't know that there were, opportunities like the one in Cuba, to pursue med school. And then also that it seems to be by being a world-renowned institution, and you have a lot of people of color from all over the world, I think that's very big, because the prominent medical schools in the United States, are pretty much predominantly, white or I would just say non-black for the most part. And so it's kind of it's a shame, but then it's kind of maybe a blessing too that, a lot of minorities, have to go to say places like Cuba to practice medicine, and I want to add this other thing too that's important, especially when it comes to dating and relationships in the United States. A lot of the best time to meet somebody is in college, or I would say the best way to meet and vet somebody is usually in college. I would say, or your workplace, or or let's say high school for an example. But I always wanted to, hope that I, met my wife in college and, live the, American dream. But after college, it's hard to get to know people. You don't really know their past like that because you don't see them every day. In college, you see people every day. You see how they move, especially if you stay on campus. You see if they are promiscuous, if they having like visitors all the time, and word get around about people anyway. You know what I mean? So college is like a really good atmosphere to really understand how a person moves. You know what I mean? The secrets that they may have are usually happening in college or high school. Outside of college, you don't know if she used to be a freak or he was, a certain way. It's just certain things you just don't know outside of once you get out of school. So I don't know, a lot of black men that I went to school with, for whatever reason, they found it a little difficult to find that one in college. I don't want to get into the reasons that may be, but going to college in another country, let's say Cuba, for example, where you got women from all over the world, like you seen South Africa. I mean, the intro vid I had, it was, I've seen women from, men and women, from South Africa, South Sudan, Cambodia, Indonesia, Guyana, Brazil, like all over the world. Like you have an opportunity to meet people of color, ethnicities, in this one place. So I just think that's very, very, very beautiful. Let me catch up with some of the chats real quick. My cousin from BK went to the med school of LTAM in Havana for a semester back in 2008. Man, I know it was an experience, man, whether they was there for a short time or completed, man. That's what's up. That's information I just didn't know. I did not know. JM said, not at work, you don't poop where you eat it. Yeah, I mean, meeting people at work, is kind of a little difficult situation, but I will say that you definitely can observe a person every day. And to be honest, most cheating occurs in the workplace because you around people that you get to know and know how they move. But yeah, college, in my opinion, or if you didn't go to college, maybe high school is the best time to really get to know a person, and kind of know their history. I'm gonna play one more clip before I talk about living and retiring in Cuba.
Medical students studying in Cuba has decreased from 264 to just 25 over the last 3 years. But now the provincial health department in Gauteng says it will recruit more students to participate in the Cuban medicine study program. South Africa currently experiencing a critical shortage of doctors in the country. So why are we sending students to study overseas? The Deputy Health Minister, Dr. Sibongiseni Dlomo, joins us now to clarify. Dr. Dlomo.
So basically here, he's mentioned that South Africa has a shortage, and this is as of 2022. South Africa has a shortage of doctors. So they're, trying to send more of their citizens to Cuba for medical school. And shout out to South Africa, man. They definitely have been on the move on wanting to develop their knowledge base, whether it's technology, some of their visa requirements to get a residency visa, for example. If you got certain skills, looking for you. And so South Africa is definitely on the move of developing and, being a force to be reckoned with. Prophet Don Omar, he says, took my father for his 70th birthday back in 2017 to Havana. Okay, that was nice. It was a lifelong dream of his since the 50s to go and visit. Man, how did he feel about that experience, man? That's that's a big deal. That's a big deal. I haven't visited Cuba yet. It's always been on my radar. When I started traveling, my goals was always to travel to countries of the diaspora or countries that had enslaved people or a large population of enslaved people. And when I did my research, it was it was Brazil having the most enslaved people in Latin America, and then you have Dominican Republic, Cuba, Colombia, Venezuela, and then the countries in the Caribbean. But I wanted to visit Latin countries. I didn't want to visit like the Caribbean countries like Jamaica, Trinidad. I can't think of all the Caribbean countries, but I didn't really want to visit any countries colonized by English, by the English or Dutch. So, I wanted to visit the Spanish speaking countries, Portuguese countries, etc. Venezuela and Cuba are countries that pose difficulty, going for tourism. So, I have been able to visit Venezuela or Cuba. I know H Live was in Venezuela, but it's not really recommended, people to, be trying to go to Venezuela. And then Cuba, had its challenges, and there was a lot of question marks on can you visit, how to visit, what to expect. I heard different stories about the food and lodging. I had a friend that said he stayed in like an Airbnb. It was like a shared home situation, and he was like sleeping on a couch, and the couch was like wet. And he was just like, man, the experience just wasn't good. And he showed me like they were making like a pizza on like a barbecue grill. And he was just saying it just looked like they just put anything on a pizza. And then at the time, I think they had internet only at a centralized location where everybody go to use the internet. And he just said it was just too many things, man. So his analysis kind of made me like, man, Cuba just not ready yet. But a lot I've heard has changed since then. Let's see, Prophet Don Omar said he loved it, but the shock of coming from a privileged country to an underprivileged country threw him for a loop. Not having access to that Wi-Fi like you wanted can pose issues. Yeah. But I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it, man. I'm gonna go to Cuba. I'm gonna do a very thorough visit. I do want to hit up Santiago de Cuba and give you guys, the real. I'm gonna read some things from this website I was looking at about retiring in Cuba, and then I'll kind of compare and contrast to, other countries that I've been to and researched. So I won't read it word for word, but I'll just kind of hit some bullet points. This is how to retire in Cuba. Could Cuba be your perfect retirement destination? Let's look at all the practicalities of retirement in Cuba. So let me see. So is Cuba a good country to retire to with 300 days of sunshine and gorgeous Caribbean climate, a first-rate healthcare system with well-trained doctors and interesting food and culture? Retiring in Cuba might be a lot of people taste. The U.S. is only 90 miles away. So yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about this. Healthcare, we got a lot of older brothers that travel, brothers in their 60s, some brothers that are, overweight. And, we've had some brothers that have died overseas due to health reasons, whether it was Brazil, Colombia, DR. And, some brothers with pre-existing health conditions, they do talk about healthcare and not having to travel, to the United States. So Cuba being a good place for healthcare, that is a very good option. So hold on, let me catch up with some of the chat real quick. But there are Airbnbs that have limited access to Wi-Fi. Okay, I got you. All right. So yeah, Cuba might have some good benefits to retirement, healthcare being one of them, and obviously, the weather. Let's see. So what does Cuba have on offer for expats wanting to retire there? It's friendly, great culture, great music. Something that I definitely can, I see from reports. Weather is great. Let's see. What else? It says, can foreigners live in Cuba? Technically, foreigners can live in Cuba providing they can get a visa. Work permits and business visas are incredibly difficult for foreigners to obtain, and the only guaranteed way of living in Cuba is to marry a Cuban national. However, the Cuban government is becoming more open to the idea of retirement and has started to initiate snowbird visas. So, I don't really think people from developed countries would seek a work permit and then, starting a business there. I could just imagine the layers of bureaucracy to even do that. So, I think in most countries, marrying a woman or man from that country is the most ideal way to live in another country. So I read on this snowbird visa. So a snowbird visa is valid for 6 months and is fairly easy to renew. You need to leave the country, but many expats fly elsewhere for a weekend to reset the visa's clock. The first step is getting a tourist card from a Cuban embassy, which you can convert into a snowbird visa in the country. However, visa holders can only buy property under a few circumstances, which many expats find limited. Something that I'm big on is owning land in foreign countries. They say while there are country club style developments under construction with government backing in Cuba, apartments listed for sale may be leasehold, not freehold, which lease term 50 or 75 years. So a lot of African countries, I would say most African countries have that leasehold where you're leasing it from the government for a fixed amount of time, but it's not freehold, meaning that it's yours and you could do whatever you want with the property. They say it's currently difficult for foreign nationals to own freehold property in Cuba outside of international owned complexes. And I think basically, can foreigners buy property in Cuba? Until very recently, non-citizens were able to buy property in Cuba. This has now changed as the country offers a real estate resident visa. However, the rules are fairly restrictive. You must marry a Cuban, buy the property in a name of a Cuban citizen, and or you could buy directly from a foreigner who owns property in Cuba. The most likely option is the third, although this depends on finding someone with a property to sell as it's the most viable option for many foreigners. You might find massive disparity in property prices. Yeah, buying from foreigners, they pretty much gonna buy low and sell high. But you would basically buy something with your spouse or family member if you want to buy. Living in Cuba, pros and cons. Living in Cuba in the retirement definitely has pros and cons. However, it's worth considering both sides before making a potentially complicated move to the country. I think pros and cons is like subjective to, what's important to you. I won't get into certain things. Let's say cost of living. Let me see if I got any comments. Not yet. Okay. So cost of living in Cuba. So Cuba is an affordable country thanks to its locally produced food and drink. Utility costs are low as is rent. You can pay as little as $160 a month for an apartment outside the city center. Yeah, that's not too bad. I mean, that's on par with Colombia, pretty much to most of the Latin American countries. You could probably rent for around $200 a month. Let's see, price rise. Cuba is around the same level as Croatia and Slovenia. The cost of living in Cuba is 19% lower than the UK and 20% lower than the US. Let's see. Currency conversion can be difficult. Something Wes was mentioning. Non-residents in Cuba can't use dollars in the country, nor can they convert them. If the dollar is your national country, consider converting it to British pounds or euros before traveling. And these have favorable exchange rates. I think the dollar is stronger than the euro right now. I don't know if that's changed or not, but last time I checked it was. Non-residents can't make money in Cuba. They must prove they have funds to live, for example, or for an expat in retirement. This could range from $750 to $1,500, depending on where you go in Cuba. Havana is the most expensive area, but smaller towns and cities are far cheaper. Let's see anything else important. It says first you can bring up to 5,000 US into the country without declaring it, although this might not be practical if you're living there for up to 6 months. Let's see, you can use credit cards, debit cards to pay and withdraw money at ATMs. Using a foreign card will incur charges up to 12% per transaction. Yeah, I've heard that you can't withdraw money in Cuba. You got to bring enough cash with you. But I'm not too sure about that. But that's something I heard when the brothers was talking about Zimbabwe, for example. Let's see. So where to live in Cuba? While expats are restricted in where they can rent in Cuba, there are clear advantages of choosing busier and more developed areas. Due to restrictions on buying apps, you are inevitably settled down somewhere like Havana or another city with modern complexes. Now, I don't know if this is changed or new, but I heard that Americans can only or was only able to travel to Havana and not other parts of Cuba. So I don't know if that has changed or not, but I guess I'm gonna find out when I visit. So yeah, I mean, it seems like Cuba is like, as far as wanting to own land, is pretty much like a lot of African countries. Same Thailand, Philippines, Asian countries, as far as you can't own anything outright, which is important for me to live in another country. So Cuba would just probably be just for, just to visit and to just kind of experience and learn a little bit about the culture, so to speak. So hopefully I'm gonna try to hit it up before the end of this year or early next year, just to see if I want to add it to one of the countries I want to focus on this on this channel. Let me know if y'all got any thoughts, questions before I get up out of here. I think next Sunday I want to talk about Lesotho, which is the small country within South Africa. Some people wanted me to kind of do a show on that country, so I'll talk about that next Sunday as well, man. But if there's not any more questions, hold on, let me see if I got one more real quick. Prophet Donald Mar says, I'm going back for a third time in 2023 after February. Okay, man. Yeah, let me know, man. I might try to link with some guys, man. I would try to go around the same time. I think I'll enjoy it if I could do that. But yeah, man, I hope y'all enjoyed this week of Afro-Sundays. Let's Talk Cuba. And next Sunday, like I said, all right, for sure, fam. Next Sunday, like I said, I'll talk about Lesotho and the small country within South Africa. So y'all enjoy the rest of y'all Sunday. Peace out.
No excuse in the tree in here. If she cute, I'ma shoot you. Hey, Jay, I think we got us one man. I'm in the club.